I will crack on then if we're going to aim to finish a little bit earlier. So I thought before we dive into the final 3 sessions, we'll go over that query we had with the physical activity in session 8. So I spoke with Lewis, and at this slide 14, where it said, let's get moving, what is cardio activity? You would obviously ask them that question and go through it with them. But then it goes on to this slide where it's how I felt before and how I felt after, and we were unsure what activity was supposed to be done. So if you were to look in your coach guide, which is somewhere, oh, it's lost the page, bear with me. I think it was building rhythm. Yep. And then it'll go down to the slides. So where are we? Oh, here. So explain the cardiovascular activity, blah, 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 and then you've got the activity yourself. So you've got to have the participants marching in place for 1 minute, varying the speed, followed by shadow boxing. And then you just ask them to write down how they felt before, how they felt after, and reflect on it. But it's in your coach guide. So apologies, I should have had that open with me yesterday to double check. But it's all there for you, and it's interactive, so you can just, when you've got it open, click on whatever session it is you want and it'll take you to it. So any questions on that?
No, but can you hear my washing machine in the background?
No, okay. Don't worry.
Because I could hear it going in the back. I'm like, can anyone hear this?
Nah, the laptop's actually quite good at like keeping out external sounds.
Stuff out. Thank God for that. But no questions about the slides.
Okay, fab. Obviously, if the participant is unable to stand for long periods of time, just get them to do the chair-based leg movements that we were doing before. Okay. So yeah, your coach guide will be your best friend if you're ever unsure of anything. So, and then obviously get them to reflect on it. Things like the heart rate, breathing, and the temperature and the mood as well. Okay, so now we're going on to the final 3. So we're in balance, and we're going to be starting with understanding food, which is revisiting the, protein, carb, fat, fiber in a bit more detail, looking at food labels, educating the participant on how to read those. So the objectives: review and discuss the food label reader, define fats, carbs, and proteins, like I said, in a bit more detail, define starch, fiber, sugars, and list some examples. Define saturated and unsaturated fats with examples, and looking at plant sources and animal sources of protein as well. List the benefits of dietary fats, carbs, and protein, discussing food labels, and sort some items. So there's a little game where we'll kind of drag and drop food items in terms of if we think we're high, medium, or low in fats. And then we're going to touch on alcohol a little bit. Okay. So this is the traffic light label reader. I'm sure we've all seen these on food packets. Yes? Yeah. So this would just be a case of walking the participants through, asking them if they're familiar with it, and then going through that this is often in per 100 grams. Well, it is on here, and this is based on the guidelines from the Department of Health. So what is considered high per 100 gram of fats is 17.5, saturates is 5 grams or over, sugars is 22.5, and 1.5 gram of salt is considered high per 100 gram. Medium per 100 gram is 3.1 to 17.5 grams of fat, 1.6 to 5 grams of saturated fat, and 1.5 to 22.5 grams of sugars, which is quite a varied gap between the two, I think. And 0.31 grams to 1.5 grams of salt. And then low is 3 grams or less of fat, 1.5 grams or less of saturated fat, and 5 grams or less of sugar, and 0.3 grams or less of salt. So we'll be coming back to these a bit more as we go on. Okay, so I'm not going to ask you what carbs, fat, and protein are because we've already been through all this. So it's just a case of where we get them from in the diet and why we need them, why they're so important. So there's some definitions here. So carbohydrates are the sugars, starches, and fibers in fruit, grains, vegetables, and milk products. Whereas fats are solid fats found in animals, animal products, and oils found in plants. And then we have protein is found mostly in animal products such as meat and eggs, and plant sources such as beans, pulses, lentils, tofu, soy. We went through all those in yesterday's training. Okay, carbohydrates then in a little bit more detail. What role do carbs have in our diet, in our lives, in our bodies? What do we think?
Carbohydrates help with long-lasting energy.
Okay. What type of carbohydrates in particular, Jordan, help with long-lasting energy?
Complex
Yeah,
carbohydrates.
well done. Yeah. So on this program, we call them something a little bit different. It's just how it's fallen in this program. So instead of going complex and simple, we've got starches and sugars, which I think it's just a little bit easier for participants to get their head around when they're at a baseline level of nutrition knowledge. Excellent.
Right.
Anything else on carbs? Anything at all? Give me some facts.
So you mainly get them from like sort of what you see on the screen, breads, pastas, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
With carbohydrates, let me think. So with carbohydrates, depending on the type of cardio you do, it could either be fat or like carbs that start to get used first.
So carbohydrates is our body's primary source of energy. It will always go to that first, based on if we've got any readily available or in our glycogen stores in our muscles. It takes a little bit longer for our body to use fat or utilize it for fuel. So carbs are, it's quicker to run to the bank and come back to get some carbs than it is to get fat. It's how I used to explain it to my clients. So, like I said, we break it down on the program as starch, sugars, and dietary fiber, not complex and simple. It's just a little bit easier to remember. So starch then broken down slower by the body, and then sugars are broken down very quickly and more readily available. Whereas dietary fiber is part of the plant which does not get digested in your small intestine. Okay, so what food items then are considered starches and fiber?
Fiber, that would be like wheats, I believe, oats.
Yeah,
Like sort of various kinds of cereal are high in fiber. You can have certain, let me think, fruits like apples, pears, that will be high in fiber as well.
With the skin, definitely with the apples, that's where we're getting the fiber. Yeah, excellent. Berries also, very good for us. Yeah.
And they're very good for antioxidants, berries.
They are, yes. Yeah. So is wine, but we won't tell them that. Love some polyphenols. Okay. Anything else for starches and fiber? What about the things that were on the previous slide? So we've got oats, they were there.
Tiny, do you want to take this one?
Sorry, distracted because there was a message about my mum. Sorry, go on.
Is she okay? Are we all right?
Yeah. What's the question?
So give me some examples of starchy and high fiber carbohydrates.
High fiber carbs.
Well, think really simple. If I was gonna have a spaghetti bolognese, what would you tell me to swap to?
Oh, well, like the whole wheat stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, grains.
So with that, we've got the pasta, bread, rice. Those are the common ones that people tend to come at first. Okay, then on the flip side, sugars. Give me some carbohydrate examples of sugars. Foods. All the things we love, but shouldn't really eat too much of.
Certain kinds of pastries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we just a question? Because in this particular bit, are we only specifying refined sugars? Because obviously, like there's this whole thing when people don't understand that there is natural sugars in food. So right now, are we talking about the natural sugars in foods, or are we talking about
both?
Like,
well,
okay.
That's where you as the coach would then, when they've listed all these, could then be like, okay, so does anybody know the difference between
Natural sugars and refined.
Yeah, or you maybe not ask the question, but maybe talk them through it. Okay, there is a difference here in natural sugars and refined sugars, and elaborate on that. So pastries, obviously, then we would put fruits in here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about yesterday's session and ultra processed foods.
I'm not sure if I was in yesterday's
Oh no, I think
session,
no,
but yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Sorry, honestly this
Oh,
week
sorry.
has just been all merged to one. Wednesday's session about ultra processed foods.
So maybe things like, I don't sugars though. Ultra processed foods, like certain kinds of. I'm not too sure.
What comes along
Ultra
when I say
processed, you're talking about, just the question you're asking.
yeah. So
That could
if,
be
Yeah, but
that could be
like
any of the
sugars.
junk, because all
Yeah.
of the junk's got sugar in it. It could
Yeah.
be any of it. It could be
give me
it
some
could be the
examples.
Greg's pizza slices
Yeah.
we were talking about. It
So-
could be anything.
We'll put that under pastries. So what tends to go hand in hand when you say pastries? What's the other thing?
Cakes,
Yeah, cakes,
biscuits, all of that nonsense.
biscuits. I can never spell biscuits.
Biscuits.
Biscuits. Oh, I still got it wrong. Oh well. Okay. Yeah. What do you tend to get asked about with participants in terms of a certain liquid?
Alcohol.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Fruit juices and stuff.
There we go. Alcohol. Didn't think of that one, Jordan. Well done. Yeah. Alcohol contains sugar. Okay. So that obviously on the screen there, we've listed some in the categories, and then you would then discuss what the difference between these two types of food. So what is a standoff difference? Like what first comes to mind between those two categories?
Whole
The fact
foods
that
and
the
processed foods.
Jordan?
I was gonna say, yeah, like natural foods as opposed to sort of like man-made products.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of ultra processed on the sugar side, but again, we still have also the natural sugars occurring in the fruit. So that is when you would then elaborate on that. And these tend to be a lot more nutrient dense than what we've got on the other side. Okay, then fats then. What are the different types of fats?
Saturated, polyunsaturated.
Yeah.
Monounsaturated, various different kinds of fats.
Yeah, there's loads. So we'll just discuss the three main types just to not overwhelm participants, and the most important ones. So we've got saturated fats, mainly derived from animal products. So this is your meat fats. Unsaturated fats mainly come from plant sources and oily fish like salmon and mackerel. And we've got trans fats that are the worst type of fats. And these are manufactured to reduce trans fats in food and drinks. Okay, so we've got a similar activity here, but for fats. So, list me some saturated fat sources.
So junk food, processed foods, so you can have like things like pizzas, burgers, all kinds of foods that use heavy oils.
Yep. Yep. Fab. Any more for saturated fats?
It's a lot of the stuff that was on the right-hand side of the list that we just did.
Yeah. So cakes, pastries, biscuits. Yes, she got it. Yeah. What is something easy that a lot of people eat often, requires no cooking?
Would it be things like crisps?
Yeah. I'm thinking you pop these in the microwave.
I mean, like ready meals and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tend to be. Okay, unsaturated then.
Unsaturated, so you get them from, like we said, certain plant sources. You can get unsaturated fats from maybe salmon,
Yep.
mackerel as well.
Yep. God, stop it. There we go.
E.
Yep,
Mhm.
we got there.
Thank God for spell check.
I know, I'd be screwed. What about something we use in cooking?
Like olive oil and stuff.
Yeah.
Coconut oil.
So is coconut oil a saturated or unsaturated fat?
Well, I would have said
I'm not sure about coconut oil. I think coconut oil might be saturated. I think rapeseed oil is unsaturated.
Yeah, well done. So yeah, coconut
who
oil.
uses rapeseed oil?
I'm not sure I don't. I use olive oil. Any more for unsaturated fats? What's something green that people either love or hate?
What, avocado?
Vegetables?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Avocado.
Who hates avocado pear? Yeah.
Avocado pear?
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's not a fruit. I mean, it's not a vegetable, it's a fruit.
Yes. Avocado pear, is that what you call it?
That's what they are called. That's what it is. It's a pear.
Really? I'm Googling this.
Go for it.
I'm going to Google this. Okay, so if this is gonna blow my mind. Avocado.
The avocado, alligator pear or avocado pear is an evergreen tree in the laurel family. It is native to the Americas and was first domesticated in Mesoamerica more than 5,000 years ago. It was prized for its large and unusually oily fruit.
Yeah, in the Caribbean, like I've grown up as as a Caribbean.
Yeah.
It was never just avocado. It would either be avocado pear or pear. That's how.
But what would you call a pear then?
What would I call a pear?
Yeah.
Yeah, but pear's a fruit.
Yeah, but how would you, if I was saying to you, oh, Tanya, can you go to the shop and get me some pears? Would you bring me back an avocado or a pear?
This is what I'm saying about culturally. That's why I specifically said in the Caribbean.
Avocado. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.
Then
yeah.
if you say then we'd understand.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to differentiate, then yeah, just drop the avocado, drop the word avocado in it. But yeah, we've just I don't know why here the pear's dropped or was dropped or has been dropped over time.
It makes sense though, with it being a fruit and with it the shape of it. Literally, you learn something new every day. Look at that. Avocado pear. Okay, so yeah, avocado, excellent. And now we're moving on to protein. So quick refresh then. What role does protein play in our bodies?
So it
Building.
can help.
Sorry, go on, one of you.
No, I just said building, but I tend to be brief, and then Jordan fills it in. So I like the tag team. It's fine.
Okay,
I
so
was just
Tanya
saying it's
said
building
building.
blocks.
Jordan.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is just sort of like building and repairing muscles to be stronger. It repairs the muscle fibers. I believe protein also can help with hair health as well.
Yep, hair and
Yeah.
nails and skin. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay, so there are two main categories of protein. We can get it from plant-based sources, and we can also get it from animals, fish, and seafood. Same category, same task again then. So list me some plant sources of protein.
Plants.
Chickpeas.
But why does it do it in white? Chickpeas. Jordan, what did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I lost it.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so you've got certain maybe beans. I think string beans might have high source of protein. I think. I know there's certain plants that have. I can't think of any right now. Beans,
So
red beans,
it's like kidney,
kidney.
beans, baked beans still do. White beans, all beans. Okay, any more? Think back to Wednesday.
Brain freeze
Plant
today.
sauce. It's difficult when you are not vegan or vegetarian yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Like the issue could be sometimes
Tofu.
is
Yeah, well done.
Tempeh. Satan.
Satan, yeah. Is that how you spell it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. What's a popular one? You can get it in a milk. Begins with S.
Oh, what, soya?
Yeah. Soy. Fab.
Nice. Seitan.
Seitan.
Satan.
I got it the backwards. Okay. Right, now the bit easier one then. Some animal sources, please.
yeah. So things like chicken, beef, eggs.
Yep. Oh, going back to the fats, where would eggs sit? The yellow of the egg.
They would sit in saturated fats, so you'd have to be careful with the sort of amount and the oils that you're using with eggs, because they can have high saturated fats. They're good for protein, but have high saturated.
Should we confirm? Oh.
Oh. Maybe it's for oils, I think. That's so maybe like the eggs itself, but when people obviously fry or
Yes, there we
they
go.
cook it in, yeah.
Yeah. So where was I? It just came to my mind when we were talking about eggs.
So then that would mean that eggs, so they wouldn't be quite high in either unsaturated or saturated. Then from just looking at that, it would just be mainly a protein source, and the fat, either saturated or unsaturated, would come from another source.
So obviously we do get it from the yolk of the egg, but eggs are a brilliant food source for us. They're well-rounded, but it's just to be mindful. We don't want to be just living off eggs. We want variety in the diet. But like you said, Jordan, it is to do with what people are cooking it in more than anything. Like if you're frying it in a load of oil, then like vegetable oil, things like that, people tend to, particularly the older generation, use a lot of vegetable oil.
Yeah.
And the sunflower oil. Okay, chicken, beef, eggs. What are some more?
Fish.
Fish, yeah. What kind of fish?
What kind of fish?
Yeah.
You're talking about like like the oily fish?
Um,
Or are you
well,
talking about
but-
like differentiating between seafood and fish?
just listing off some sources of fish.
Oh,
because,
right.
Yeah. Don't deep
Cod,
it, Tanya.
haddock,
Yeah.
bream, sea bass.
Yeah. Then we've got prawns or shrimp, whatever you want to call them, depending on what size they are and where you're from.
Devil food.
Devil food, do you not like them?
No, I'm allergic.
Oh, yeah. Shellfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fine because it
more?
keeps my cholesterol levels down.
Any more? Chicken, beef, eggs. Two more that people don't really tend to list.
In terms of animal products.
Turkey and pork.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the primary role of fats, carbohydrates, and protein. Why do we need them in the diet? So this is a little activity. So what they will do is put a little X in the box whether they think the statement is fats, protein, or carbs. Excuse me. So keeps you fuller for longer. What do we think that is?
Protein.
Protein?
And I would say protein and fat.
Okay, Jordan?
I would have gone carbs in regards to satiety.
Go through the answers in a sec. Maintains brain function.
Protein.
Tanya?
I'm going to say both again because I'm pretty sure our brain needs a little bit of fat.
Okay. Muscle and
But
cell
I know
repair.
these are not thingy.
You'll find out.
So that'd be the protein.
Protein. Also protein.
What about reduces cravings and desire to snack?
Carbohydrates.
Do we agree, Tanya?
Yes, if we're going for slow release.
Okay. Preferred source of energy.
Carbohydrates
as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I'm always giving it away before the slides, aren't I? Supports cell growth in the body.
That's a protein.
I believe it's protein.
Okay. Absorption of fat-soluble vitamins.
That'd be fat.
Soluble vitamin. Yeah.
Okay. And maintains healthy bowels.
That'd be carbs, I guess.
Maintaining healthy. Yeah, because like the bowels, like when like you'd have. Yeah, I'm sure
So
it's
I think fibers coming in with the
maintains
carbs there.
healthy bowels.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
Are we ready? So you were right.
Yep.
With all three can help keep us fuller for longer. Carbohydrate depending on the source. If it's low GI and slow to break down, higher in fiber. Protein, it helps with satiety levels because it's slow digesting. And as with fat, they all help to maintain brain function. So yes, well done. I think our brains run on 60% carbohydrates alone, but fats are very important for brain function, and so is protein. Muscle repair, yep, protein. Reduces cravings and desires to snack. So protein and carbohydrates go very well together for that. Preferred source of energy, yep, carbs. Supports cell growth in the body. So yes, we were right with protein, but we need a balance of all three. Absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, correct, is fat, and healthy bowels is carbs. So yeah, well done. You did really well. Right, so now we're going to look at label reading in a little bit more detail. So on food packaging, this is what will look like. And I think your participants get a copy of this label reader, if I am correct, or it'll be in their books. I haven't got that book out of my bag yet, so I'm assuming that's what it'll be there. But we've got the free groups again. So we've got green groups. These are the things that we should be having the majority of. The ones in the amber, we can have them a little bit, but not too often. And then reds are things we should be trying to avoid. So based on the red, amber, and green, we're going to sort some food now. So let me move the crisps out. Can we all see this okay?
Yep.
Right, fantastic. Okay, so we're going to place these foods now into the categories of where we think they would be. So we'll start with the cheese and onion crisps then. Not the full 6-pack, just a packet. Oh no, it'll be per 100 gram. Apologies. So yeah, per 100 gram, where do we think it sits? Green, red, or amber?
What, the crisps?
What would this be for? Fats or?
So we are going to look at whether it is. Ooh.
Is it just red, green, or amber in general?
Yeah, because it could be like red in one thing, or okay. I mean.
Let me move this away, and I'll just cheat a second.
Crisps tend to always sit in the red.
So we'll try and go
only for certain things, not for like
across
every
the board.
Single nutritional value.
So we've of course got like the food label tends to come in fats, saturated sugars, and salt. So we'll try place it across the board. Then you're never going to get them 100% because obviously we can't put them in one category, but we will try our best. Please don't do that. There we go. Okay. Where do we think crisps are mainly going to sit then?
They still tend to sit in red. Like for me, I'd say usually you'll see the
we can have them
lots of
between
amber,
things.
lots of amber into reds for crisps, unless they are the see quote unquote the healthier stuff where they bake it or whatever they do with it.
So would you like it in red? Would you like it between red and amber?
Between, would you reckon? I'd say between, but they do edge towards the. They do tend to edge to. I know this because I eat a lot of crisps.
Okay. Jordan, do we agree?
Yep.
Okay. What about baked beans then? So I think these ones are beans in a tomato sauce.
I'd say in the amber.
Yeah, because there's probably quite a bit of sugar and salt going on there.
Smarties.
They'll be nudged up towards red. What we do is this on 100 grams? Yeah. Or is this again still just general?
General, but to 100 grams.
Who eats 100 grams of Smarties? Like, you got problems.
That's probably 2 tubes. So where do we think? Red or somewhere between?
Red. It's gonna go. I'd say red because it's lots. It's a lot of sugar.
Okay. What about these?
So with this okay.
Go on, Jordan.
I was gonna say with this activity then. So are we not sort of trying to get it overall, because with the Smarties, but yeah, they would have a lot of sugar, but we would have like nothing else, like salt. They would basically have like no salt. So once again, I'm a bit confused. It's a hard activity when it's like it could be red in one thing, but then green in another.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can leave it in red. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So to expand on that, because I think we're both in the same mindset here. We just talk about again, it just brings it back to a balanced diet. How much of these things you're if we bring it back to the conversation of overall diet, but yeah, it still does make it a bit tricky because they're gonna. I don't know, maybe it needs refining a little bit as to what we are focusing on for them.
What I would say, so what we're looking at is highlighting how much of a food can be in the red. Or, so for example, the Smarties, right? I'll run through this with you now. So the Smarties are red in fats, red in saturates, red in sugar, but green in salt. So the
you want us to
majority of
go
that,
through all of them with
So,
them?
so it would basically be the majority. It would basically be like the sort of majority. Where would it sit?
yeah, so the majority,
Okay.
yeah. So we want them to then highlight, okay, the majority of this food is sat in the reds. So is this a sensible choice for your goals, basically? And what can I use for another example that we've already categorized? Where's the crisps? Cheese and onion crisps, right? So they were red for fats, amber for saturates, green for sugars, and amber for salt. So that's predominantly in the amber. So I think we were nearly there with that. But it's just about highlighting how to create a balance and trying to stick across the board with as many greens and as little reds and ambers as you possibly can.
Okay.
I know it's a bit confusing when you're trying to scrap what I said about the 100 g and just go based on what you think it mainly is across these three categories together. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So these ones then, stop scrolling down, please. Oh my gosh. You're going to see the answers. The eat natural dark chocolate. Granola bar type.
I'd say in the granola bar.
There's still a lot of sugar in. There's still a lot of sugar
Might
going in
be maybe amber. Yeah.
Tanya?
Yes, definitely. Yes, predominantly. I don't know if it. No, I don't know how much.
Try not to like get hung up on like how many grams are there in
Oh
it.
no, not grams. I'm not talking about grams. I'm just trying to think of like what is in those granola bars.
Yeah.
But like it's like a lot of sugar
Yeah.
with the chocolate.
Yeah. So do we think amber?
Say, I'd say amber as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Do you want it a little bit in red? I'll put the corner in red.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it does say like fat naturals. There might be a bit more fat than you might think if it's like a granola bar.
Mm-hmm. They tend to have a lot of nuts in them, don't they? So okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Kellogg's Crunchy Nut.
I'm gonna go amber red. There's a lot of sugar in there.
Amber red. Jordan, do we agree?
Is that the honey one? I'd go amber. I'll just go
Amber.
put it straight in amber.
Okay. What do we have there? What kind of sandwich is that? Cheese and onion sandwich. So
I'd say
for
that's another sort of amber one for me.
I'd say maybe a little green. Yeah,
about there.
about that.
Okay. So these are the kind of sashayed porridge. Where do you think?
Is it just plain porridge, or is there any kind of like flavouring or additions to it?
Dun, dun, dun.
Super smooth. I
Super
don't know why
smooth.
I'm leaning in.
Fortified. I
See?
think it should be green. That should be green.
Okay. Oh gosh, where are we going here? Green?
Yep.
Potato wedges.
I'd say amber. Green amber.
Half in the amber and red.
Oh. Tanya?
Oh, well, they are seasoned. It depends what they are seasoned with. And actually they amber. I don't know about green.
Okay. I'll pop it there. Right. We'll go with per serving of mango juice.
It's quite high in sugar.
Jordan?
It's definitely milling around the amber.
Agree. I'd say it's agree because it might be high in sugar, but it should be across the board still low, very low in everything else.
Shall I
And the
pop it
sugars will
here?
be hopefully natural. I mean, if it's from concentrate or not. Sure.
Jordan's going in. Is it from concentrate? I love it.
Okay, mini pack of raisins.
Just
Green.
raisins on their own.
I would put
Just
green.
raisins.
Oh, is it chocolate? Is it chocolate covered raisins or just raisins? Green.
Just raisins.
Well, natural sugars.
But it's
I
still
wouldn't.
sugar.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd whack them up into the red.
Here we go here.
Maybe because there's not much of anything else happening.
Yeah, I love how it's bigger than the actual packet of crisps. But corn vegan sausage roll.
Amber.
Amber.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, there's a lot of processed stuff going on in there.
Yeah. Okay, a veggie. No, it's not a veggie. It's because I saw green. It's a beef lasagna.
That's into
Red.
Red. Okay.
Like amber into red. Yes.
So the only thing we have in green is porridge. Let's take a look. Are we sure with those final answers?
That's it, Anne.
That's it. Okay. And that's where they all sit.
I know. Final answer. Who does final answer? I was thinking Anne Robinson. It's not Anne Robinson. Who does final answer?
Weakest
Who
link.
wants to be a millionaire?
Who wants to be a millionaire? Weakest link.
Chris Talent. Sorry.
Okay, so you were
So
right.
the wedges were in green.
Wedges are in green, yes. So you were right with the mango juice, well done, and the porridge. And I think we got the lasagna and the chocolate granola bars in the red. So this is where you can then go into a little bit more detail now in terms of why we placed them where we did, because this is where it breaks it down. So the Smarties then were predominantly red. The vegan sausage roll, which is predominantly red. Beef lasagna, red. Cheese and onion crisps, where did we put those? Those were in the middle. Raisins, those were the controversial ones. So like you said, there's not much in that other than the sugars, but they're still quite high in sugar. So if there is a red on there, it's most likely going to push it up into that category. Crunchy nut then, it wasn't the honey one. It was just normal crunchy nut, but there's still quite a lot of fat per serving of those. So this is where the traffic light system kind of comes in a little bit per serving. So per 30 gram. And the porridge per 30 gram, again, it's still a little bit high in fat for the amount that you get. And then it's green across the board. Half a can of baked beans then is all green. And mango passion smoothie was just the sugars, like we said. But that is insane. 150 ml glass of that is 16.5 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar.
It is, and mangoes are particularly high in sugar as a tropical fruit.
They are my favourite fruit, though.
What, mango?
Yeah, mango and pineapple. And then we've got this is the thing that will trick people up, because they think, oh yeah, granola bar, it's really, really healthy. And it says eat natural on it, so we think, oh yeah, the more natural, the better. But that is a whopping 11.7 grams of fat, and the bar is only 45 grams. We've got 8 grams of that being saturate and 15.6 grams of sugar in that bar with a little bit of salt. So yeah, those were way up in the red. But does that make a little bit more sense now we've been through it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, we're good with that? Yeah? Yeah. So I will just pop all these back over here before I forget But you did really well there. The granola bars will tend to shock people because they think that, you know, if they're nipping into the shop and they're trying to pick a healthy option, a granola bar's in your face, people will think, oh yeah, it's healthy. It's oats and nuts. But when we're trying to reduce sugars, it's quite dominant. Okay then, so these are just some helpful tips to help people use the label reader.
Setting a bit weird. You guys keep on cutting off.
Sorry, what, Jordan?
I'll say my internet's being a bit funny, so you guys are sort of cutting in and out, so I apologize.
Oh, okay, don't worry. We're going to take a break after this one anyway, so hopefully your internet can adjust. Okay, so yeah, here are some tips on the screen for label reading. So it's just about walking the participant through these. So we've got how can you use the label reader to eat healthier? So it's about educating them on how to make more informed choices when they are out shopping. So you can purchase diet drinks over full sugar drinks, purchase the lighter alternatives of sources such as cheese, purchasing low fat or low sugar yogurts and milk, purchase food with the healthier cooking methods such as the baked crisps, like Tanya said earlier. Consider the quality of food and drink items. So salmon, nuts, seeds will have some reds, but they are healthier food choices. So again, when we're going about this, it's making them aware of that yes, they might be in the red, but we still need some healthy fats in our diet, and these are great sources of unsaturated fats. Considering the portion size, eat or drink too many items with ambers may be as unhealthy as eating reds, as example being fruit juice. So yeah, we can see that with the mango smoothie being 16.5 grams of sugar. Okay, so this is what some highlighting some factors of eating too many red sources of food. So what could a diet high in reds and low in greens increase the risk of? So obviously obesity and being overweight, heart disease, some types of cancer such as bowel cancer and colon cancer. It can increase mental health problems, and we are more susceptible to sickness, and it takes us longer to recover. And it does not help our bowels because we are getting very little fibre, so it increases constipation, which is never good. But that to me just doesn't look appealing, that picture. I don't know what it is.
It's just a bit like too much, you know, when you have too much junk food in one place, it does make you maybe not feel a bit sick, but it's like just looking at it, it's like it's unappealing.
Yeah. Going back to that child that was eating the pizza slice at 8 o'clock in the morning, like I could not think of anything worse. No.
Yeah, like first thing in the morning, and that's like so what you're consuming. No,
I know. But yeah, it comes down to the education and the parents' education. Like we were discussing one of the sessions when we were in London with you guys. Okay, so alcohol then. Obviously, not everybody in your sessions will consume alcohol. And if you've got no one in the session that consumes alcohol, then obviously this is something that doesn't need to be touched on in detail, but it might just be good to make people aware. But obviously, if you do have members in your group that are consuming alcohol, obviously we need to go through this. So the recommended guidelines for men and women should be to consume less than 14 units of alcohol per week, and this should be spread across 3 days or more. So having multiple alcohol-free days throughout the week. So 14 units of alcohol are the equivalent to 1.5 bottles of 13% wine, 6 pints of 4% beer, or 10 single measures of 40% whiskey, gin, or vodka. What do we think about these UK guidelines?
yeah,
No, go on, Jordan.
I was just gonna say I've obviously spoken with alcohol before, spoken to people about it. It's okay in regards to the guidelines. People can tend to go quite easily though. It's a sort of guideline that people do tend to cross very easily. It's not exactly like a very high bar in regards to consumption.
And I think a lot of people get confused with the units. It's not very well explained.
Yeah, like a glass of wine is 2 units from what I believe.
Yeah, depending on the size, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tanya, what were you going to say, sorry?
No, I agree. In that my whole life, I don't know anybody, or I know very few people who know what a unit is,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
be able to tell you how much they're drinking.
Yeah.
It's a public, yes, it's a public health issue. It's a public awareness. Like, I don't understand why they they haven't tried to educate people differently about
Yeah.
this, because the message is clearly not getting through.
No.
Jordan, you said that how you described it is good, as in it's a low bar for what people are consuming. Because I know people that they'll do a bottle and a half in a night
Every
on
night
their
after
own.
work. Yeah.
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 So that's their whole week's consumption in one sitting.
Yeah. Rather than 3
So
or more alcohol-free
yeah,
days a week.
so there's a lot of people that are over consuming alcohol on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
what can you do other
I
than
know we
this?
can only educate the guidelines that we've been given, unfortunately. But this slide tends to not shock participants, but kind of open their eyes in terms of, you'd be surprised how little people are aware that drinking contains calories and contributes to weight gain and other health complications.
I'll tell you what, that's the only link in my experience that people tend to make with that. And actually, if you tell them, when they don't realize that it's quite calorific and can add to weight gain, if you literally, just to get it visually in their head, what I find has worked is if you say to them, well, what do you think a beer belly is all about? Like, you literally say to them, look at the guys in the pubs that are in there regularly and look at their stomachs.
Yeah.
That is a beer belly. And then for some people, that tends to
sink in.
Oh, it kind of makes a bit more sense for them that actually, yes, alcohol can cause significant weight gain. But yeah, again, unless you give them that picture, it's difficult. It's quite difficult for them to make the connection.
So we spoke about protein, carbs, and fats and their calorie content. So with carbs and protein being 4 calories per gram and fats being 9 calories per gram, what is alcohol?
Didn't I get this the other day when it like 8 or something, and you were like, no, you were 1 out.
Very close, very close. It's 7 calories per gram.
See, I've done it again.
And there is the whole thing about the paler the spirit, the less sugar in it. So like the darker the spirit. So if you're going for a dark rum over a gin, it'll obviously have more sugar in it. It's just how that alcohol is made. But this tends to be an eye-opener to participants. So getting them to think about it in terms of food and calories and the equivalent. So for example, a pint of 4% beer is 2.2 units. And that equates to 239 calories. And for that, somebody could have a jam donut. So you're saying to them, they will go to the pub and they'll happily have 6 pints. So that's 6 times 239. I'm not going to do the maths. But what would that person then go and, on the flip side, go and eat 6 donuts in one go? Probably not.
Depends who you're talking to.
It does.
Genuinely.
Yeah. And then for a glass of wine then, so for 175ml, which I think is a medium-sized glass of wine, might be a large, at 13% is 2.3 units, so a little bit more units than beer, is 159 calories, and that is the equivalent, roughly, to 3 of the mini bags, the party bags of Haribo's. A single whiskey and regular Coke, so not a Diet Coke, is 1.4 units and 239 calories. So that's the same as a full pint. And again, roughly 2 chocolate digestive biscuits is 166 calories. So it's kind of saying, highlighting that 1 drink is a lot more than you think, especially when you're not going for the diet mixers and it is a darker spirit. So we've got a mojito there, which is Bacardi, soda water, sugar syrup, and limes and mint. And then that's 2.4 units and 217 calories. And then roughly we could have 2 mini blueberry muffins for that, or are they chocolate? Feel like blueberry to me. A single gin and tonic then, a little bit less at 1.4 units and 154 calories, which is roughly the same as a bag of cheese Doritos. And an Alka-Pop, I don't know anybody that still drinks those, but it's on there. 1.5 units, 193 calories, and that is roughly the equivalent to 4 Jaffa cakes. Now, an Alka-Pop will be incredibly high in sugar because they're very sweet. So yeah, this is just a little activity to kind of be a bit of an eye-opener to participants that, yes, you might go and sink 4 pints of beer, but would you go and eat 4 donuts? And we're not getting any nutritional value from either of these alternatives. Do we think that will help open participants' eyes in terms of their alcohol consumption, in terms of calories and sugar?
It will make it slightly easier for them.
Yeah.
They have something to equate it to.
Yes, rather than just going 14 units a week. Yeah. Any questions?
And will we have access to these slides just for future reference?
Yes, you've got all these slides. This is what you'll be going through in your sessions. Like literally what we're doing now is going through the sessions. So this is how you would do it. They're in the
folder.
Yeah.
You know the email that Claudia sent us, Jordan?
No, I'm not aware of an email.
There's she sent us an email.
Okay, I'll have a look.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, everything will be in there. You've also got slight adjustments for one-to-one sessions, which are just the slides, but a little bit different to tailor the session to one person rather than a group. But then, yeah, you'd be going through the SMART goals for that session, applying it to whether it's a label reader or less alcohol consumption or increasing starchy carbohydrates, for example. And that is it for session 10. Any questions? No? Okay, we will take a quick 15 minutes now. We'll be back at 1:15 and then the next 2 sessions. Okay, so we're on session 11 now. So this is strength and balance. So I'll change those so there's match. That's good. So the objectives for this session are to define strength and balance physical activity, explore physical activity guidelines again, so just have a recap with them, because remember the last time the participant discussed those, it was weeks ago. I know for you guys it was only 2 days ago, so it might feel a bit repetitive. Complete the strength activity quiz, list examples of strength activities, list strength physical activity benefits, and complete the balance activity task. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you do that on camera. List balancing activity examples and list the benefits of balanced physical activity, and then tie in the SMART goals around that. So to start with, we went through the cardio physical activity. So now we're going into, the subcategories of the 75 vigorous and 150 moderate. These are the things that we should also be doing in the week that contribute to part of that, and how we can increase those. Okay, so then we'd be going through first the definitions of strength and balance. So strength is any activity that makes your muscles work harder than usual. This increases your muscle strength, size, power, and endurance. Whereas balance is exercises that strengthen your muscles that help keep you upright, including your legs and your core. These kind of exercises improve stability and help prevent falls. So here is where you'll just be recapping the physical activity guidelines, maybe might be good to test participants in a little bit of a knowledge check. How many? Before you go onto that slide, you could just be like, does anybody remember the physical activity guidelines? What are they? And so on. So alongside the 75 minutes vigorous and 150 minutes moderate, we've got the other ones down the side here for building strength and improving balance. So we should be building strength on at least 2 days a week. And for the over 65s in particular, we should be improving balance for 2 days a week. So it says here, strength and balance activities should be completed on top of the 150 minutes moderate or 175 vigorous. And obviously this also is on top of minimizing your sedentary time as much as possible. So tips to becoming more active then. Do you both have any tips that you could share to help increase physical activity during the day?
Planning, so being able to like schedule specific times to go out during the day, and also like planning maybe a specific type of activity, or if it's just walking, maybe planning a route so that it's more, so that there's more like maybe sights to see, and it
Yeah.
would sort of like spur you on to actually go out and be sort of more physically active and get moving.
Excellent. Fab. Thanks, Jordan. Tanya?
Yeah, just in addition, I'd probably just keeping in mind who we're dealing with, I guess. Just
Well,
start
this is
them.
you asking them for tips so that they can share with the group. But like now I'm going through this like you're the participants. I'm asking you what your tips are. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You can help them a
So,
little bit and pull it out of them, but
yeah, but I still probably, they're still probably in that mindset of, I don't know, like just walking a bit more, not taking the car, maybe using the stairs instead of the lift, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So
Yeah.
they're going to be resistant to go into those like slightly more structured stuff. So they'll go for the easier things first, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. They've all got to start somewhere.
Mm.
And the baby steps we take all add up to the bigger picture, don't they? But for example, a tip I would share is doing it with a friend always makes it easier and more fun and helps with accountability. So that helps me be more active. Like last night, I met a friend at my gym class. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gone. So yeah, that's just about creating a group discussion and sharing some helpful tips that not necessarily some participants might not have even thought of.
Okay.
Okay. So we have, sorry, Jordan, were you going to say something?
No.
So now we have a little bit of a quiz, true or false quiz on muscle strengthening. So we'll just go through that. So we will go through it and then we'll go through the answers afterwards. So true or false then on these 8 questions. Strength physical activities will make my muscles big.
Well,
Don't deep
yes.
it, Tanya. Don't deep it. Don't deep it.
It's yeah, it's a bit
Well,
of like a
it
sort of
will.
simplistic, like,
In the
I mean, it
simplest of
will
ways.
it will all be, yeah, I mean, it's a very simplistic sort of way to state it. I mean, over time, yes, the muscles will sort of grow if you're doing just, strength training.
Yes.
It also then depends on sort of what you're intaking as well. If your intake of protein is low and not consistent, then your muscles aren't going to sort of get big as it states it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a
It's
trick
No, I'm
question
with
in a
Jordan.
sense.
I'm
Yeah.
laughing because I'm with him in that sense, because this is the stuff that puts people. I know it might sound a bit
No, it does. I agree.
pernickety,
Yeah.
but even though it's a true or false quiz, this is, and we'll discuss this after. The
Yeah.
question itself is quite like,
It's put in a way
when you
that's
think
not,
about dealing with
yeah.
women and strength training, the first thing they're going to be like, oh, it's strength training is going to, they don't want to do it because they don't want their muscles to get big, but actually it does make your muscles get like,
Yeah.
it does grow your muscles. So it's, I'm a bit on the, well, I guess I'm not on the fence, but
yeah.
like I said, I get it's a quiz, but I'm with,
Yeah.
I kind of, I don't know.
It's how you navigate this question as a coach. It's like, yes, like exactly what Jordan said. if, yes, you're training your strength, sorry, so you're going to increase muscle mass. However, there's plenty of other things that play into that, such as your nutrition and your protein intake and how much recovery you're getting and all sorts. So that these questions are designed to kind of open up discussion. So yes, you're both right in that is true, but more plays into it than that. But if you're finding that when you're going through this, the participants are not really happy or engaging, please do let us know and we will look into kind of adjusting this for you. So question 2 then, strength physical activity means I have to start lifting weights. True or false?
False.
False?
Yeah, because there's obviously body weight exercises, there's resistance exercises, that's all part of strength. So you don't necessarily have to lift weights to gain, strength or participate in strength physical activity.
Yeah, well done. I'll go through the answers at the end, so we'll just move on to question 3. My muscles need to be sore at the end of activity to show I worked hard. True or false?
Once again, it depends on the activity. If it's cardio activity, not necessarily the muscles. I mean, to show that you've worked hard for cardio, it would essentially be your breathing,
So
your
we're
heart rate
talking about
would have been
strength here, so it'll be resistance activity.
I would be inclined to say yes, because I mean, it depends on sort of what your goals are. If you're really trying to look to really,
this is well, sorry to jump in.
this
This is
yeah,
what I'm
it's not
saying.
really
This is where
phrased.
this quiz is not. Yeah, I don't know about the framing.
Yeah,
I get
So-
like you said, there is discussion to be had towards the end of it, but this is I don't know if I can articulate really what the problem I have with this.
So I know, I understand. However, right, the answer for this is false. You do not need to create delayed onset muscle
Well, that's what I
soreness.
said, false. But
yeah,
it's I still
Well,
I
what you
how.
think
understand
about
where
essentially, it's
Jordan's
not
coming
quite simple.
from, in the sense of we've created micro tears in the muscles, and that, if you are not used to it, is going to be a sign that you've created some hypertrophy in your training. You've done something that is beyond what you've previously done, so that's going to cause some delayed onset muscle soreness. However, that should not be used as a parameter to mean that you've worked hard. And if you are getting adequate nutrition and hydration, I'm not sore every time I train, but I know that I'm still getting stronger and I'm still achieving my goals. It's just, I know I'm eating sufficiently, getting enough protein in, and I'm not pushing myself to a point where that I'm striving to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, these are designed to open up discussion, but you've got the answers there to fall back on and navigate around. So yeah, question 4, strength activity also improves my balance. True or false?
True.
Tanya?
Yeah, true.
Okay. I need to do strength activities every day based on the government guidelines.
No.
Okay. False. Not every day.
Strength training is only for young people.
False.
No.
False, yeah.
False, yes.
I'm trying to lose weight, so strength training is not beneficial for me.
False.
And strength activity will also improve my flexibility, muscle control, and coordination.
True.
Okay.
It's fine. I got over myself. It's just to frame it very specifically before we go into the quiz itself, because I just think it just perpetuates. No, I guess that's the point of the true or false, but it really does in its essence. It just perpetuates the stuff that just makes people resistant to wanting to do strength training.
Yeah, particularly around females and getting bulky and yeah. So yeah, we've been through the first few. So strength training, physical activities will make my muscles big. True, but we want to explain that comes along with a lot of other factors. Strength training activity means I have to start lifting weights. We were correct. We said false. There's plenty of other things you can do using your body weight for resistance, for example. My muscles need to be sore at the end of the activity. Sure, I worked hard. We've explained that. That one is false. Strength training activity also improves balance. Now, we said true, and I would agree to some extent. However, it depends on what you are doing. If you are training unilaterally with dumbbells and barbells, yes. But if you are training on machines, you're not improving any balance there. You're not activating the core to help improve the balance. So again, it's just explaining that. I need to do strength activities every day. True. But we said false. What do we think of that?
Oh,
Well, because I was for me,
I
I was answering it in relation to what you were talking. You said to frame it around the guidelines.
Yeah. So this is
twice
what
a day.
I'm confused about. So I need to double check this one with Lewis because Lewis wrote this quiz and not me. So I'm going to
Can you
follow up
also
with that
question him on the number 4 as well? Because again, I just I throw my toys at the pram here, but I wouldn't put that as like we have to discuss that answer because that's for me that's not a false. 4
one.
is
Well,
true.
question 4.
Yeah, 4 is
Okay.
true. Because then if you're then having to break that answer down again in itself,
Yeah.
then it needs to be a different question.
Yeah.
Becky, has
I
this
think
quiz been? Yes, I was just gonna. Has
sorry,
this
Jordan,
quiz
your
been
internet's going
gone
in
for
and
with
out a
like
bit, I
other
think.
groups?
I think he's
What was
Okay,
that?
asking
sorry,
if
can you hear me
if
now?
it's been used.
If it's been used, yeah.
Has this quiz been has it been done before, and has the other groups that have participated in this quiz, have they sort of highlighted issues regarding the wording as well, or has it been more sort of plain sailing with previous groups?
This is the first time I've delivered it, so I'm not sure on the feedback.
Oh, right.
But I can speak to Lewis and find out. But I do
Okay.
think, looking back at it, we could either rephrase these questions, or I'll get Lewis. I'll speak to Lewis and see what he thinks and see his justifications for why he's worded things this way. Where were we? Strength training is only for young people, so of course that is false. And I'm trying to lose weight, so strength training is not beneficial for me. That is also false. We got that one. And strength training will also improve my flexibility, muscle control, and coordination.
Right.
Yes.
So now I'm going to pick it up again. You need to go back to you need to go back to question 4.
Yeah.
Because 8 is the same as 4. Balance is about muscle control and coordination. So if you're saying strength activity improves that, then you have to say that straight away you don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
but then it follows that 4 does improve balance. The two you can't. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah. So what I'll do is after this training, I'll go to Lewis and speak to him, and then I'll send you an email clarifying the quiz, and then I'll update it if we need to update it.
Yeah. Just genius tweak.
It's good that we're getting this feedback. So yeah, that's fine. Right. I do agree that those two kind of contradict each other. Okay. So now we are discussing what activities we can do to improve strength, ways to take part, and the benefits of that. So this is where we just ask the participants what, if any of them take part currently in any physical activity, strength physical activity, and what it is they do, if so. And it says there that only 34% of men and 24% of women undertake muscle strength activities at least twice a week. Which I don't think I'm surprised by that number. Are you?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, not really. No.
Okay. So what strength training activities can we do? List 4 or more examples, it says, that you can complete inside or outside of the home.
So yeah.
Go on.
I was gonna say doing things like push-ups and sit-ups.
So body weight. I will make
Yeah.
that bigger. Yeah.
Body weight, like calisthenics.
So think about people on this program. Would we necessarily be recommending they do calisthenics?
No. I thought it was just in general. No.
Oh, right, okay. But when you're in the group with the participants, obviously they're probably not gonna
Yeah,
really
just
understand what
with
calisthenics
participants,
is.
basically. Yeah. hmm
Yep.
Resistance exercises, so using, you could be using bands, just resisting a type of like force. Yeah, it's resistance
Yeah.
bands in
Yeah.
order to increase strength.
Okay. Any more?
I mean, if you obviously want to be weightlifting, so just lifting weights in order to increase strength.
Yep.
Weight training.
Just stair climbing. I'm gonna try and put it in their heads as to like stuff they can do.
We had it on the other slide. Carrying heavy shopping bags, walking up and down stairs, things like that. Yeah. Or something that the majority of people have got access to nowadays that they can still use in their own home. A lot of people did them during the pandemic because we couldn't go anywhere.
You're talking about dumbbells.
That would
with
go under
weights.
the weight training. Think about, you might have done it yourself as a coach for other people.
Lost, sorry.
No, yeah.
Exercise videos.
Exercise videos, right.
Yeah. So they kind of tie in with, like, you'll be either doing bodyweight movements or you'll have a set of dumbbells sort of thing. But yeah, they're all strength training activities depending on the video. So those are things that you can discuss with the participants on just raising their awareness of what actually is a strength training activity or a strength activity. So like we say, carrying the heavy shopping bags, that is something that they're not going to necessarily think it is, but it is. And using their own body weight as resistance as well. Okay, so what are some benefits then of training your muscles? Long term and short term, it says here. So think short term first. What are the benefits? During, after?
So during I was gonna say feel good, but not everybody feels good during physical activity. So
Well, what does it release?
it releases
dopamine and serotonin.
Endorphins.
Endorphins.
It does give us a boost of dopamine. Yeah. What about your sense of achievement and confidence?
Yeah, so I was going to say maybe better sleep. I was going to say increased appetite in a good way.
Yeah.
Let's
rephrase it. Regulates.
There you go. Good for digestion.
Yeah. Excellent.
We're still talking about stroke training.
It helps with short term of strengthening exercises. In my mind, strengthening exercises would sort of mainly have like long-term benefits because obviously it takes some time to build up your strength. I can't think of any more short terms unless Tanya wants to sort of add in.
Short term's a bit difficult, isn't it?
No.
So,
yeah, for strength.
I'm tapped out for short term.
What about it comes in with just exercise in general, like it can help manage stress.
Yeah.
Improve mood. But yeah, long term then, so we improve our strength. What about when you're having to push yourself repeatedly over and over and over again? What does that do?
Better mental fortitude, perseverance.
Yeah, What's another way of phrasing that?
Endurance.
Well, yeah, it
So
builds muscle.
mental and physical endurance. Better mobility, better like stronger ligaments and tendons apart from the muscles. Long term reduces weight.
Yeah, stronger. I'll just put joints.
So yeah, weight reduction reduces risk of all sorts of chronic diseases.
Yeah, I think we've got some good ones there. So yeah, short term, it is a bit difficult. Just try and think of how you feel. So it improves our sleep, increases endorphins, regulates our appetite, definitely helps aid digestion, manage stress, and improves our mood. And long term, then, yep, it improves our strength. We can build muscular endurance, but also resilience. Like I said, we're having to push ourselves over and over and over again. It improves our mobility, strengthens joints, weight management, and helps reduce the risk of diseases and falls as well. Excellent. So yeah, it's just about making the participants aware of all these benefits that come along with it. Okay then, so this is where we would do a balance test. It'll be in your coach guide. So it's just getting the participants to come off out of their chair and balance on one leg if they are able to do so for, I think, either a minute or 30 seconds. So yeah, it'll walk you through it here. So stand up, clear the space and floor around you, sit back down and prepare for the activity. So we want to do this gradually, just make sure everything's clear and then get them to stand back up again. Stand up, cross your arms slowly and lift one foot off the floor. And then the timer begins once the feet are off the floor. Hold your balance for up to 60 seconds or until you lose balance and have to put your foot back down. And then you would note that time down that the foot returned to the floor. And then on this next slide is the timings based on the age group where they're at and roughly the minutes and seconds. So for example, I don't know, I could probably balance for 37 seconds. So I'd have the age category of what I should be aiming for. Maybe I'm in this one? So I should be able to balance in theory for 43 seconds on one leg. And then it might create a bit of a discussion with the participants. They're like, oh, I wish I could have done better than that. And then it kind of highlights, okay, so I maybe should be working towards improving my balance. So it's just a simple activity to get them thinking, get them talking, or they might be really pleased with the results that they've got. So somebody in their 60s might have been able to hold for 40 seconds. So their balance age might be younger than their actual age, which improves their confidence in the activity. Okay, so then we move on to discussing balance and ways to incorporate that into our lifestyle. So what activities can we do then to improve balance in our lives?
Things like yoga and Pilates,
Yeah.
both like standing and like chair-based exercises as well can improve your sense of balance. Even maybe things like meditation, like just centering yourself as well. Sometimes people
Okay, yeah.
can be a bit off balance when they're like sort of going through the motions.
Yeah, I'll pop that in with yoga because it all comes around that, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. You do a lot of meditation with yoga work. Tanya, did you say you do meditation? Or was it yoga?
I do for myself, yes, and then also I'll teach yoga and mindfulness and meditation. So yeah, part of my lifestyle, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that all helps, like meditation goes hand in hand with the yoga? Am I right putting it together?
Yes, that's yes. Ideally, yes, that's a whole nother discussion in itself because we tend to here in the West,
Yeah.
they're separated and they shouldn't be. yoga, yeah, don't get me started. Because yoga's a whole thing. It's a philosophy. It's not a class. It's not movement. It's there's much to it. But we have separated the movement from the mind.
Yes.
Part of it. So
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So
that was
explanation and
long answer.
I'll put them together.
Yes, sorry. That was the long answer to your question, which is why
that was very well rounded.
Don't get me started. But
okay, excellent. So we've got yoga and meditation, Pilates, any other balance exercises or activities that participants could do to improve their balance?
Squats, lunges, stair walking, standing on one leg, like it all. This is why this is why Lewis needs to change the slide.
Yeah. I will talk to him about that because I think I agree, but I want to hear why he's done it first because this is Lewis's creation.
It's his baby.
Yes.
Sorry, Lewis, if you're watching this back.
It's always good for feedback. It's always good for feedback. That's how we grow and change these things and evolve. Okay, one that people don't normally get. Oh no, I can't spell it. Tai Chi.
Nice and gentle. Bike riding, if any of them are bike riders.
What do you think that improves?
What, bike riding?
Yeah. I'm thinking static.
Cycling.
Yeah. Thinking static in a gym.
Stretches.
Would that come with yoga?
Yeah.
I think the main ones there are the yoga, Pilates, and Tai Chi. That one's gentle, easy movements. But yeah, it's just the standing on one leg when the kettle's boiling. Those are the little tiny things that we can pop in here and there. Okay, the benefits. Oh gosh. From balancing activities then. Same as we did before, but for balance. What do we think the benefits are?
I guess the most obvious one would be improving balance.
Yeah.
Improving coordination.
Reduce the risk of falls.
Yeah. So when we're balancing, what part of our body is trying to stabilize us mainly?
The core.
Yeah. Oh.
Just as a sidebar conversation, if we have time for it during the sessions, and if anyone's minded to, while they're delivering, I think it's important to highlight to them as well that something that's going to affect their balance is actually their hearing as they get older. So it's something for them to consider in terms of their ability to do so.
And not to be so harsh on themselves. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very good point, Tanya. Thank you. Okay, then on the flip side, the second question then, what activities do you need good balance for?
Yeah, walking.
Yep.
Again, going up the stairs.
Yep. One more, even simpler than walking.
Standing.
Just standing.
Yeah. And I think that goes back down to cycling. You need good balance to be able to stay upright on a bike. Yeah. Any more?
Can't think of anything right now.
What does Claudia do?
Dancing.
She is a dancing machine.
Dancing. You need good balance to dance. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so yes, I will clarify slide 18 and I'll get that sorted for you. But that is the end of this session. So again, you'll be going for the SMART goals and tying them into the session. So
Okay.
any questions on that other than the quiz? Fab. Okay, we will come. Hello.
Why? Why is it so quiet? Hold on. Okay.
Okay, so the last and final session is food and mood. So this is just about connecting what we eat with how we're feeling and how we're feeling with what we eat. So the objectives then are to describe how food choices can affect our mood and to describe how mood can affect your food choices. List the triggers of non-physical hunger and ways to overcome them. So going back to that session the other day, and describe mindfulness and mindless eating. Look over the parts of the daily life scenario and discuss how this may affect our eating habits. So we'll look at a bit of a case study and how that person's mood has affected their eating and vice versa. Okay. So how does food affect mood then? So we're going to look at it in terms of different types of food. So how could chocolate affect our mood?
Chocolate would make people feel, I guess, happier.
Long term, short
It's,
term, what do we think?
short term, it improves mood in the short term.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Why is that so big? Yep. It's
This is
difficult.
quite a tricky one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think as well, obviously people have their go-to foods that they specifically like as a person, but in terms of like specific foods and how they would like affect me, like for example, chocolate, then fruit, then sweets, it would be like either positive or negative, but just in general, like it's hard to
Yeah.
kind of break it down how like crisps, specifically for being crisps, would affect somebody's mood differently than chocolate being chocolate. It would
Yeah.
be more dependent on the person, but I don't want to be someone to complain. I'm just sort of pointing that out.
Oh, no, yeah. That's totally fine. It's just about getting them to highlight how it makes them feel.
Yeah.
So you tell me, how does chocolate make you feel?
Oh, when it comes to food, my mood is sort of really affected. I'm sort of in the mindset of just thinking about whenever I eat, I just think about, okay, the nutritional value and how it's going to sort of impact my body physically. I kind of put
Yeah.
any sorts of emotions to the back burner, but obviously other people might have sort of different feelings around that. And okay, they're sort of eating to make themselves feel better. It reduces stress for them, and all
Yeah.
sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're going to get those ones mainly as well. It provides
Yeah.
short-term happiness and that instant gratification, provides comfort for some people, and yes, it can reduce stress when we're eating it in that moment in time. What about fruit then? How does fruit affect your mood?
It it makes me feel better knowing I've had like a healthier sugar as opposed to like once again chocolates and sweets. So
Yeah.
it keeps me sort of more mindful as well, just even having fruit um around so that you don't
Right.
reach for those sorts of things.
Yeah. So you kind of what's the word we're looking for? Proud that you've made a conscious choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about energy levels?
It can give you a boost in energy as well. But I think that would be sort of more of a long term. It might be
Yeah.
the sweets and chocolates that oh yeah, that's one of the things as well, because obviously people call it the sugar rush for children. So chocolates and sweets will sort of do that, give them short bursts of energy.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's energy and mood kind of go hand in hand, don't they? What about fast food then? How's that going to affect your mood?
I'd say the same as the chocolate.
Yep.
But then people might also
Yeah, with the
maybe
fast food.
they might feel quite bad. There's a
Guilt.
it can affect either way. Yeah, there you go. That would
It would depend on the portion that you're having of a fast food, what kind of fast food you're having. For me, if I was to have fast food, it does, but it can like relax me essentially, because I would only sort of go for fast food if I've gotten sort of nothing better and maybe I've just been hungry for a while. So it can be relaxing.
Okay.
Yeah, it can make you feel sick if you have too much of it. But I guess for anything, if you have too much of it, even fruit, if you like gorge on fruit, you'll eventually just feel sick anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sweets.
So alongside the sugar rush, it's so difficult because it's essentially it's very similar across all of them.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of general gist of this slide? Is that food and mood are strongly linked?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you're getting at. So yeah, we won't bother going through the rest of them. But yeah, like things like a home cooked meal provide comfort and warmth, brings the family together, you know, that all helps improve
Yeah, I guess like a
mood.
sense of achievement for sort of homemade foods because you've obviously taken the time to prepare it for either yourself or you and your loved ones.
Yeah, it's an act
Crisps.
of care, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making a meal for someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get the general gist, and Tanya got it nail on the head there. This is creating the link in the participant's mind between what they're eating and how it makes them feel. Because we don't all eat mindfully. We just eat and then we feel something. We don't connect it with the food automatically. So how does mood affect what we choose to eat? I think this one's the one that's a bit easier to do. So when you're sad, how does it affect your food choices?
Well, I won't talk about myself, but just from people that I've spoken with in the past, whenever they're feeling sad, they sort of go into unhealthier food choices, and even though they're conscious that it's sort of an unhealthy choice, because they're unhappy for whatever reason, like they're feeling quite sad, they don't really even care to make the healthier choice. So it's almost
Yeah.
like being neglectful. It makes you sort of neglectful of your health.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Okay.
Sorry,
What
can I
about
just can you sorry,
Yes.
can I be right back in like a minute? I just need to check something with my mum.
Yeah, of course, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Jordan, what about on the flip side? Because sadness does the opposite to some people, doesn't it?
Yeah, once again, it's like with these sort of last two slides, it's almost like thinking there's like an objective sort of effect that certain specific foods can have when it's almost sort of by the person. It's like a
Yeah.
case by case basis. So once again, people might have fast food and be sort of elevated by it, whereas somebody else might have fast food, and even if it's like a craving, it might just make them feel worse. But it's like downward spiral.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky, but like we've lost him. I'll give it a minute. We lost you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah, sorry, okay. I'm
I
back.
think your internet might hang in for the next 25 minutes. Fingers crossed, 20 minutes.
Y-
But yeah, you were right in saying that like this is a completely subjective exercise. All your participants are going to say different things. But it's just highlighting the links between food and the choices we make and our mood.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was getting at there is I know people that if they are going through something difficult and they're feeling sad, they can lose their appetite.
Yeah, that's actually me. So I don't know why I didn't actually put that, because that's me. If I'm especially sort of like anxious or sad about a particular situation, I actually tend to just lose my appetite completely. I can go like a day without even caring for food.
Yeah, exactly. And like that links back to the point you said above about being neglectful of our health. Like we put it on the back burner when we're going through something difficult or we're feeling sad or anxious. Okay, what about if we're feeling happy then?
If we're feeling happy, we're more mindful of healthier choices. We're less stressed and rushed.
Yeah.
Uh, if
Come
we're
on.
happy, hmm.
So this again, like you'll find with a lot of these, they always have two ends of the spectrum. So sometimes, if I'm feeling happy, I'll be like, "Let's go out for food, let's celebrate." So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So you might, especially if you're somebody that's, health conscious and you know that you don't really have much fast food in your diet, if like a very sort of happy, exciting situation comes along to celebrate, you would
yeah,
just, have maybe some fast food with friends or family. But then at the same time as well, if like I said before, if you're happy just sort of in general, you might just be sort of mentally well enough to continue the healthier lifestyle and not sort of fall into maybe a bad habit of, yeah, this
yeah.
is very,
It honestly, it will go all the ways it will
yeah,
go. It's just about exploring this with the participant. But yeah, you'll get people on total ends of the spectrum. For example, like you said, Jordan, when you're sad, you lose your appetite, and when I'm sad, I want to eat my feelings. So
right.
it's completely two different ways. And no two people are the same. Okay, we will do boredom and yeah, we'll do boredom because you'll notice patterns as we're going along. Boredom then. How can that affect our food choices?
Um, we well, once again, not me, but people when they're bored, they just sort of tend to eat to fill like the void of time.
Yeah.
So so it's almost like an activity for them to do, despite the fact that they're not sort of achieving much or anything except, maybe increasing their weight, just to fill that void of time. They'll actually just eat just as almost as an activity instead of maybe going out for a walk. It's like what I was speaking to people about, like, go out for a walk or organize an activity, even with like the family, to take your mind off of just sort of being bored and being alone, like with your thoughts and thinking, let me just put something in my mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so yeah, we can overconsume by doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, eating to fill time, overconsumption. Anything else for boredom? How many times have you been bored and gone, there's done the stupid thing of check the fridge 3 times and no food is ever going to appear that wasn't there previously? Um, oh,
Yes, just
and
like
when
sort of
you,
repeat,
yeah,
yeah, repeating like bad habits and just like
yeah,
wasting time essentially, like you're wasting time. You're not being productive.
yeah. And quite often when you do that, you're not going to reach for, the hummus and celery sticks. You're going to reach for,
Something that could be sort of made very quickly or just like heated,
yeah,
which is a bit funny, because if you're bored and you even opt for food, then the activity could be actually cooking a healthy meal, but people would rather just
exactly.
put something in the microwave.
Yeah. And then you kind of filling the time with a productive activity, but also fueling your body in a way that's going to have a positive effect. But no, we tend to opt for the ultra processed foods when we are repeatedly looking in the fridge and the cupboards. Excellent. So yeah, I think you get the idea. We won't bother going through the other ones, but like I said, people will be on completely different ends of the spectrum with this exercise based on the emotion. Some could go one way, some could go another. So it's just about exploring how it makes people feel, what choices they make, and how all of this is linked together. Okay, then, so we're going to go back to non-physical hunger. So can anybody remember what that is?
All of the stuff we were just talking about. So the
Yeah.
mood eating, the habits, the triggers.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's you know, the boredom eating, things that we said like that, being subconsciously and consciously marketed to, a craving for a specific food, not a genuine feeling of hunger where we experience mood swings, a gurgling in our belly, things like that. So here it says list situations that might lead you to make less healthy choices. Think about the following. So we're going back to that ABC model, if you remember that a couple of sessions ago. So the activating event, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? And what triggers the craving? Then the behavior. So what is your response to that activating event? And the consequence. So how do you feel? Has this led to anything else? So there is an example here. At work, feeling stressed about the to-do list, so feeling overwhelmed. The behaviour then is to go to the vending machine for a snack, and the consequence is feeling less stressed about the task and more focused. What do we think about that?
Well, feeling stressed out.
Yeah. It could end up in them feeling less stressed about the task or more focused.
Depending on the
could
snack.
do the because and then it could do the flip side of the previous stuff and make a person feel bad for having reached for the quick fix, the quick sugary fix.
Yeah, depending on the snack, isn't it? Okay, so what would we come up with for maybe another hypothetical situation? What could we say?
Between meetings or on the school, whatever, somebody from one place to another.
So should we put rushing on the school run maybe? Oh gosh.
Yep.
Gosh, I can't even type. Why did it change that from a capital to a lowercase? So rushing on the school run, how are they feeling if you're rushing?
I'm also sorry to jump on to explore is holidays. Seems is a big one for people, and not quite knowing how to deal with that. So
being on holiday. Okay, so we'll use them two as our hypothetical situations then. So we're rushing on the school run. How are we feeling if we're rushed?
A bit sort of panicked in a way in regards to not maybe thinking in your mind you're not going to be able to get to where you need to be on time. So just sort of feeling a bit panicked and anxious.
Yeah. Okay, so what could be a behaviour? What is the response to feeling panicked and anxious?
Maybe being a bit forgetful in regards to having your breakfast or a particular meal because you're thinking about where you need to be.
That time today. Forgot breakfast as a result. Okay, and what might a consequence of that be?
The Greg's pizza slice on the way to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jordan, just in case you think it was actually real, because I don't think, like, when we keep mentioning this Greg's pizza slice, right? So I was saying to Becky on what day was it? Wednesday.
Yeah.
On when I'd popped out before the meeting started. People were on the school run, and this kid who was about 7 was eating a Greg's pizza slice for breakfast.
Yeah.
So it's not a hypothetical. It's like this is why we keep going back to it, because it actually was for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things do happen, isn't it? Obviously, parents are rushing around, and it's just, and especially, if it's in London, like in London, it's particularly busy. You always hear, like, because I was born and raised in London, so you're just sort of used to it. But basically, anybody that's not born in London, they always talk about how busier it seems, compared to like where they're from. So you would tend to see that, kids rushing around and adults, and that's the reason why in train stations as well, there's so many different little shops and cafes and even outside train stations, because they know, oh, that's where the money is. People just rushing, they've not had their breakfast at home, so
Yeah.
let's get some money from them.
Absolutely.
Because the commute time's just so much more because of the lack of, you can't drive anywhere. You need to be on public transport, so that increases your commuting time. So that takes away out of your morning routine. But like I was saying to Tanya the other day, when I was staying down in London for the training, I went on Uber Eats to grab some tea when we got back, or dinner for you guys. I think you'd call it dinner. Would it be dinner?
Yeah.
And there was 1,500 restaurants around me that I could pick from. Crazy.
Yeah.
And they
There's
were
just
all
like
fast
so
food.
much choice. Yeah,
A
it's
lot
like
of
you're just so.
Asian food, a lot of like sushi and things like that, which is obviously the better option, but a lot of, smash burgers, TGIs. Yeah, it was crazy. 1,500 takeaways.
Even
Oh
when you
my
say it
God.
again, it's just, it is, I think we filter it out, because I know I've when you said it, I was like, okay, I think I've probably seen like a big number when I've got, but kind of not really, it's sort of gone over my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But with you saying it again, it's just like, Jesus mercy, we really do have a lot.
a problem.
Yeah. But so it's no wonder that people do struggle.
Yeah, it is. And like when you're walking past a chicken shop and it's a £5 for a box of chicken, chips, a drink, and another side. Yeah. Okay, so yes, that rushing on the school run is going to lead to those negative choices if we're not educated enough to make a sensible choice. So being on holiday then, this was one that participants will face a lot. How is being on holiday going to affect our behaviour? What is the response to being on holiday?
It's just more relaxed.
Yeah. Oh, why does it keep writing in white? It's getting me annoyed. Relax. Yes.
On the next one, actually, no, I don't want it to mess up the side, but I was going to say maybe select all and then pick the colour for the thing, and then it should just write it.
The font.
In theory, it should, but it's not letting me do it right. Because it's on black, so I don't get why it's just doing them in white. Anyway, right, relaxed. Yep. Anything else we might be feeling or behaving like on holiday?
Distracted, because obviously you might be participating in activities you usually wouldn't, so you might be distracted from your usual sort of eating habits and foods and things.
Yeah.
The routine, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not a behaviour, but it leads to a behaviour. Yeah. So I'll put that activate an event. No routine. Yeah. I'll delete the 2 R's out of rush. Okay, so what is a consequence of being on holiday with no routine and you are feeling relaxed and distracted?
Irregular eating pattern.
Yeah.
Increased consumption, so the overeating.
Maybe increased potentially alcohol intake as well.
Yeah, what's this whole even from the airport, people start this nonsense.
Like me.
Oh, it's 12 o'clock somewhere.
I
then start down in pints.
8 a.m. 8 a.m. Yeah. I'm on holiday. See, that bottom one is me. That bottom one is me. But yeah, that's all. I might not be hungry. I mean, I'm definitely not hungry, but I'm going for a second round of the morning buffet because I can't. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You just like convenience, basically.
Mhm.
Convenience, yes, that's a big one. Convenience, and I don't do it often, so I'm going to do it on holiday.
Mhm.
But
Right.
yeah, this is highlighting to the participant how to link that ABC model in with the non-physical hunger and our behaviours and our consequences. So, talking about the activating event and the consequences, how could we make alternative strategies? How could we overcome those barriers, essentially? So we'll go back to rushing on the school run. What could be an alternative strategy for that?
Effective planning. I mean, maybe even meal planning, because
Yeah.
then if meal planning,
How could we
adjusting
save time in
sleep
the morning?
pattern.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
With sleep and in regards to like saving time and more, you could, like, if you go to bed earlier, you can wake up early and have more time to prepare breakfast for the kids and for yourself, and it'll obviously be a healthier alternative.
Yes,
The Greg's
definitely.
pizza slice.
Yes. Yeah, that parent definitely stayed up late and could not get up in the morning. Yeah. What about saving time then in the morning? How could we do that?
Prioritizing as
Yeah.
well. I mean, there are various different things that you're doing. You sort of getting ready to just prioritizing what you need to do, instead of like maybe sort of faffing around. Maybe people will be distracted by television and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Scrolling on their phones and
Yeah.
yeah. So getting your priorities in order. Yeah. What was trendy like maybe a year ago?
What
for
was
breakfast?
what? Sorry.
What was trendy to be having for breakfast maybe a year ago?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Overnight
What?
oats. Everybody was doing them.
Oh,
Mhm.
was it just a year ago though?
I think,
Was
well,
it like
maybe
just
more than that
trending?
then.
Oh, okay.
So preparing the breakfast the night before, if it's something that can just be left in the fridge and grabbed. Okay. I think that those are the main ones that are going to really help, not rushing on the school run and having time for a nutrient-dense breakfast. So being on holiday then, within reason, what is an alternative strategy?
Stick to their
Practicing.
normal meal times if they can,
Yeah.
where possible. Even if it, I don't know, for example, the breakfast, even if it just means at least, even if just your breakfast is had when you might normally have your breakfast.
Yeah, excellent. Any more?
I was going to say practicing mindfulness, just making sure that, especially when you wake up, you're always mindful of your not just nutrition but your daily activities as well, where you're going to be when you're on holiday.
Yeah,
You need to be
sticking to your routine.
Like actively being aware of it and trying to remember, as opposed to letting it go to the back of your mind.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so sticking to your routine, eating mindfully, being mindful. Anything else for navigating holidays and not letting it go too off-piste?
Was that pun intended? Was it, Becky?
No, it wasn't actually. So one thing I try and do is I'll try have vegetables with every meal just to kind of get some vitamins and minerals in. So
Yeah.
Is that because you know that you're having a pint for breakfast?
It's because I'm having a margarita at the next meal.
She's by the pool. Bartender.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If it's all inclusive, it's a bit silly. So
That's a
what
good
was,
one, actually. I like that. Just load up on the veggies.
yeah.
Just kind of counteract the not so energy dense foods and substances.
Yeah. So still really trying to focus on getting those nutrients in. Yes, you're on holiday. You are entitled to enjoy yourself. But we still got to look after our bodies. Excellent. Okay, so here are some alternative strategies that people can implement. So removing those tempting snacking foods from the home, make a meal plan and set smart goals for the week for your nutrition. Find other ways to cope with stress instead of using food. So that might be, going for a walk, calling a friend, those types of things. Getting active or going for a walk when you have the boredom urge to eat. Speaking to a friend for support. Starting a food diary can help us highlight when these things are happening because we're not always aware of them. Practice mindful eating and remove distractions. We mentioned that one. Practice positive self-talk. Find a way to relax that doesn't involve food. Of course, if the participant is genuinely hungry, then they need to eat, but it isn't always the case. Do an activity, whatever that might be. Remove yourself from the situation. So if you are, for example, working from home and you're in the kitchen and you just keep going for the fridge, remove yourself from the kitchen and practice mindfulness. So what is mindful eating then? Because you'd be surprised about a lot of people don't know what that is.
Being self-aware of your nutritional choices,
Yes.
making sure that you're having your vegetables and fruit, like you have a recommended daily sort of allowance, five a day.
Yeah.
Also being aware of other things like water intake. Lots of people, especially that I was speaking with in my previous role, they weren't drinking enough water, so I was just making them aware of even things like that. And lots of
Yeah.
people were sort of drinking like teas and coffees more than water. Always, told them that the number one sort of fluid you should be having is water. Not, you don't have to cut out coffee or tea, but you shouldn't really be drinking like more tea or coffee than you're drinking just basic water in a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to add, Tanya?
Yeah, just actually just taking the time with it, like minimize distractions,
Yes.
try not
Yeah.
to eat on the go.
Which isn't always avoidable, but when you can,
When you can just like even I mean I'll tip many people will be at the office and they'll be emailing and having lunch and that's just
yeah. You're not aware of what you're
No.
actually eating. You don't get the satisfaction from your meal. You eat too fast.
Eat too much.
Yeah. And that often leads us to then not enjoy what we've just eaten and we don't get that satisfaction, so we start reaching for other things. Yeah, so mindful eating is full awareness of your experiences, cravings, and hunger cues during a meal, and mindless eating is eating without full attention. So we've got some scenarios here. So mindful eating is I eat until I'm overly full. Do we think that's mindful?
No, that's sort of like it's the opposite. It's mindless eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about I savor my food? Do we think that's mindful?
Yeah, that's mindful.
Yeah. I pause before eating something unhealthy and ask whether I want to use food in this moment.
Sounds like Jordan.
Mindful.
Yes, that is mindful. I eat slowly, chewing my food and putting my fork down between mouthfuls. I'm pretty sure that that one is I eat until I am full.
That's mindful. It
Yeah.
stops like snacking.
Yeah. Where were we then? I notice how my feelings of hunger change as I eat. That's mindful. And I engage with the look and texture of my food. Now, this ruins some food for me, but it's been mindful eating. Goes back to the celery thing. And then mindless eating then is I eat while I'm playing a game, so you're distracted. I don't taste food when I eat it again because you're probably distracted or you just shoveling it down. I pick at food when I'm preparing meals. I rush my meals as I usually have somewhere to be. I do not notice whether I am experiencing physical hunger or non-physical hunger. And I quickly have something to eat when I'm stressed. And finally, I often snack in front of the TV. So those are just highlighting what the difference is to the participants, so they get a better idea in real life scenarios what mindless eating looks like and what mindful eating looks like.
Because I was gonna, my comment being, but it sounds like from what you've just said that this, I wouldn't dwell on this particular slide too long, because it's more just about raising their awareness. Okay, these are the different, this is the difference.
Yeah.
Just so they can get in their head, all right, oh, this is what I do, or this is not what I do, and okay, maybe I'll look at kind of bringing these in. So it's not necessarily like a long talking point, but just to kind of
highlight.
Like, okay, yeah.
And then some benefits then, if they're still not convinced, it helps to manage weight. We don't overeat and we recognise when we're full, so we're more in tune with them hunger and satiety cues. We enjoy food more because we actually taste it and we're present. Enjoy the experience of eating, so this might be connecting with friends and family over food. More fulfillment in food, so we get more satisfaction out of it. Less likely to use food for managing emotions or feelings, improves digestion, and we don't feel as uncomfortable because we're not eating past the point of fullness. Because we're eating slowly, it allows our body time to, that 20-minute rule of realising that we're starting to get full. So this is a home task for your participants. So it's complete the mindful eatingness questionnaire in your booklets and write down the areas you would like to work on. So these are just questions like, I tend to stop eating when I'm satisfied, and then they would circle almost, sometimes, occasionally, most of the time, or always. And then, so there they could write, for example, then there's more there. I could multitask when I eat. And then again circling those things. So it's about if they are circling, say for example, I tend to stop eating when I'm satisfied, and that's occasionally. They could work on that one to move it up to most of the time, and so on and so forth. So, but that is something for them to take home. Okay, so we're going to finish now on a case study. I will try to get through this as quickly as I can, as I know, Tanya, you need to jump off. But this is just looking at a person's day, an example of their day, and how they can increase mindful eating and not rely on food and mood connections. Not to use food as an emotional support. So we're going to read the scenario and discuss the following. What is happening? Why is it happening? Can anyone relate? What is the impact of this scenario and what could be done differently? So again, assessing that ABC model against this person's day-to-day. So this is Janet. Janet wakes up at 7 a.m. and is starting work at 8:30 a.m. They rush to get the kids up, ready for school, and make them breakfast, but forget to make their own. They get to work just a couple of minutes early and rush to get set up with no time to relax before starting work. So if we go back then, what is happening and why is it happening?
So, like Jordan was saying, lack of prioritizing.
Yeah, it's basically what we explained in the previous slide. Okay, so I will move on to the next bit then. So the next part of Janet's morning, after missing breakfast, she gets a chocolate bar from the vending machine at 10 a.m. due to finding it difficult to concentrate because she's so hungry. What do we think about that?
Okay, poor food choice based on the fact that she's starving.
Yeah. And how is that going to make her feel when she's got that thing out of the vending machine? What could it impact?
Well, her mood is going to give her, well, she's going to crash quite quickly. She'll have the spike and then she'll crash. She's probably not going to feel great because she's not had proper meal.
Setting herself up later on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see what she does next. Janet did not prepare anything for lunch that morning or the day before, so they walked to the nearest supermarket for a sandwich, drink, and a snack. By the time they get back to work, they only have 10 minutes left of their break. So again, if we go back to that slide, what is happening?
So eating on the go, poor food
Yeah.
choices due to lack of time or like just not prioritizing.
Yeah. What could be done differently?
Just being better organized.
Yeah, so it says that she didn't prepare anything the night before. So that could be a case of making a slightly bigger evening meal and taking that for lunch.
Yeah.
These are things that might sound really simple to you as the coach, but to the participant, maybe not so much. I'll just quickly fly through the next few then. So Janet gets home from work feeling drained. Why is that?
Because she's frazzled and she hasn't eaten properly throughout the whole day. So
yeah, you'd be honestly, it shocks me the amount of people that just don't eat until they get home. How?
Yeah, so
And then
what are they
she's
running on?
exactly what are they running on? Then she's forgotten to defrost the chicken from the day before. So she decides to cook the frozen chips, chicken nuggets, as this is quick and easy and the kids like them. Everyone sits on the lounge to eat in front of the TV. Janet. Yeah.
What will we do with you?
So what's going on here? It seems like she's very unorganized. There's no structure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So everything's very reactive.
There we go. Yeah. So what could be done differently in that situation? Yes, she's forgotten to defrost the chicken. That's happened. What could be done differently?
In that moment or prior?
In that moment. Say that the chicken's not going to change, it's still frozen.
Maybe having better fresh food options that can just be sort of cooked there and then. That doesn't need like defrosting.
And what about then everyone sits in the TV and everyone sits in the TV?
I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
It's the last bit. This is the mindless eating.
Yes. So what could be done differently there?
Sit at the table, have their meal around the table, or even actually going back to what could be done previously is maybe get everyone to help prepare the meal.
Yeah, definitely. Have that family time together and prepare the meal. And then it's less one person and it cuts probably the time down considerably. Okay, later that evening, Janet is feeling peckish. A little later on, so she grabs a packet of crisps. And by 8:30, the kids have gone to bed. She decides to stay awake and watch a film till late. So we're starting to see now her evening routine. So what is that having effect on?
The morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a knock-on effect and almost like a vicious cycle of the day before I was rushing and off my feet and I'm not preparing my meals, and then it sort of carries on, and unless there's basically like a lot of mindfulness, it will keep on carrying on until you almost like consciously say, you know, I need to get better sleep. I need to prepare these meals the night before, or make sure I've got time in the day tomorrow.
Yeah, and then that has a positive knock-on effect because she's got more time in the morning. She's not as rushed. She's enjoying her food, making better choices. Her digestion will be better. Yeah, excellent. And then finally, before she goes to bed, she looks through her social media and loses track of time. And before she knows it, it's 12:30. She struggles to fall asleep.
She's not doing very well.
She's not. Yeah, she struggles to fall asleep even when she feels tired. Why is that?
Being on the phone.
Has she eaten close to her bedtime?
It was like 8:30 or something.
Because eating, I guess it's not too close then, but that's a common thing when people eat late.
Everybody's different, aren't they? Like in terms of their rate of digestion and things. But yeah, she's eating pretty late. But what we're going back to that session we did on sleep, how can screen time affect us?
But saying it's because she's on the phone late, so she's not gonna. Her
Yes,
brain's
it's
just
just
awake. She's just stimulated.
it's just going to be distracting her from settling down and actually getting the hours of sleep that she requires.
Yeah, so her sleep hygiene routine has gone well out of the window. It's emitting that blue light which prevents us from falling asleep. And it's a mindless activity, and she's soon lost the track of time. So yeah, that case study is really important to go through with your participants because this is quite a common day-to-day for a lot of people. And just really highlighting, going back to those questions. So maybe before you go through this, get the participants to write these questions down so you don't have to keep swapping back through the slides.
Okay.
And getting them to evaluate all those things and what they could do differently. And then, yeah, that's the goal setting for the session. And that is that one. Any questions? I quite like that session. I think that one's a nice
so
one.
it does. It's a nice one.
That's a very helpful one.
Yeah, it's lots of reflection on habits.
Yeah, I think it's a nice one to end on as well. But yes, that is finally it now for the training. I'm sure you'll be pleased to know. I will get back to you with the queries on slide 18 about that quiz. I'll speak to Lewis either today if he's not too busy or on Monday, and I will email the clarification to you or update the slides and let you know that I've changed them. But yeah, any questions at all?
No, it's very straightforward, not from me anyway.
Okay, well, you know where we are if you ever need anything, or you can just pass your queries on to Jean Ann and she can obviously let us know. But yeah, thank you so much for engaging. It makes our jobs a little bit easier. And like I said, if you've got any questions, just let us know. But good luck in your new roles.
Thanks,
I'm sure
Becky.
you'll all be fabulous.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a fabulous afternoon.
Yes, you too.
Cheers.
I'll hopefully speak to you
Take care,
soon.
everyone.
Bye, Jordan. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.